The third season of the American television drama series Breaking Bad premiered on March 21, 2010 and concluded on June 13, 2010. It consisted of 13 episodes, each running approximately 47 minutes in length. AMC broadcast the third season on Sundays at 10 p.m. in the United States. The complete third season was released on Region 1 DVD and Region A Blu-ray on June 7, 2011. Season 3 saw actors Bob Odenkirk, Giancarlo Esposito and Jonathan Banks, who play Saul, Gus and Mike respectively, upgraded to main cast status after guest starring the previous season, although they are not credited for every episode until Season 4. Plot: as the city of Albuquerque deals with the aftermath of the mid-air collision, Walter opens up to his wife Skylar and reveals his involvement in the meth business, putting tension in their marriage. Walter offers to divorce from Skylar while still being the family's provider to protect her, but Skylar recognizes she is in too deep and begins looking for a way to legitimately launder the money with the help of Walter's lawyer, Saul Goodman. Gus approaches Walter about continuing his meth cooking in a well-hidden underground lab with the latest equipment for a highly lucrative salary. Walter is initially reluctant until he learns that Jesse has left rehab and started cooking meth in the RV lab, and takes up Gus on his offer. Walter is introduced to Gale, a skilled chemist chosen by Gus to assist in the lab. Meanwhile Tuco Salamanca's two cousins, hired assassins, make their way to Albuquerque to kill Walter to avenge Tuco's death under their Uncle Hector's orders. Gus is able to call them off and instead offers them Walter's brother-in-law Hank, the one that killed Tuco, instead. Hank is assigned to the El Paso office by the DEA, but stays in Albuquerque to trace a tenuous lead in the Heisenberg case, eventually discovering evidence that ties the RV to the meth production route. Walter learns of this and is able to warn Jesse in time, and they are able to destroy the RV before Hank can obtain a warrant. Hank, furious at losing the lead, assaults Jesse at his house and leads to a disciplinary hearing, where Hank is taken off active duty. As Hank is leaving, he is warned by an anonymous caller that he is about to be attacked by the assassins. Hank is able to disable one of the assassins with his car and shoots the other dead, but the firefight leaves him paralyzed from the waist down. The DEA begin to investigate the assassins, and Gus uses the distraction to initiate an attack on the Mexican drug cartel to seize control of the drug dealing in the region. Walter discovers the assassins were meant for him and confronts Gus on the larger scope of his plans. As Walter continues to cook meth in Gus' lab, he claims that Gale is not as effective as Jesse, and arranges for Gus to hire Jesse instead in order to encourage Jesse to drop the charges against Hank. Jesse skims some of the product to sell on the side, which Walter becomes aware of and attempts to discourage Jesse from doing unless Gus becomes aware. Jesse also starts dating Andrea, later learning that her younger brother Thomas, working as part of Gus' street dealer chain, was responsible for the death of Jesse's friend Combo. Walter arranges a meeting between Gus and Jesse, where Jesse gets Gus' assurance to no longer use children in his drug trade. However, Thomas is later found dead, and Jesse assumes Gus' dealers are fault. Before Jesse can kill them himself, Walter runs them over with his car and tells Jesse to run. Jesse goes into hiding, forcing Gus to bring Gale back as Walter's assistant, and putting the lab under more strict control. Walter realizes that Gale is being groomed to be his replacement, making him expendable to Gus. Walter secretly meets with Jesse and instructs him to locate Gale's apartment. Once Jesse informs him of the location, Walter prepares to go kill Gale, but is met by Gus' associate Victor, and taken to the lab. Realizing that he is about to be killed, Walter convinces Mike to let him call Jesse under the pretense of having Jesse turn himself in, but instead tells Jesse to kill Gale before any of Gus' men can get there. Jesse races to Gale's apartment and shoots Gale. Cast. Main cast: Bryan Cranston as Walter White, Anna Gunn as Skylar White, Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman, Dean Norris as Hank Schrader, Betsy Brand as Marie Schrader, R.J. Mitt as Walter White, Jr. Bob Odenkirk as Saul Goodman, Giancarlo Esposito as Gustavo Gus Fring, Jonathan Banks as Mike Ehrmantraut. Recurring cast. Episodes. Production: unlike the second season, When the Breaking Bad writers planned a storyline for the entire season in advance of filming, the writing staff did not fully plan out the third season before production and instead developed the storyline as the episodes progressed. The third episode is dedicated to Shari Rhodes, who died due to breast cancer during the filming. Jennifer Hutchison and Thomas Schnauz were added to the writing staff this season, both of whom having previously worked with Vince Gilligan on The X-Files. With the exception of John Shiban, who would leave at the end of the season to executive produce Hell on Wheels, the writing staff for Season 3 would remain on the show until its conclusion in 2013. Home media releases. The third season was released on DVD in Region 1 and on Blu-ray in Region A on June 7, 2011, in Region 4 on November 24, 2010 and in Region 2 in Germany on May 19, 2011. Special features on the DVD and Blu-ray include 9 audio commentaries, No Mas by Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, Anna Gunn, Skip McDonald, Dave Porter, and Michael Slovis, Mas by Vince Gilligan, Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, Anna Gunn, Bob Odenkirk, and Moira Walley-Beckett, Sunset by Vince Gilligan, Dean Norris, John Shiban, Kelly Dixon, and Thomas Golubic, 1 Minute by Dean Norris, Louis Moncada, Daniel Moncada, Michelle McLaren, Thomas Schnauz, and Dave Porter, I See You by Vince Gilligan, Bryan Cranston, Betsy Brandt, R.J. Mitt, and Jennifer Hutchison, Kafkaesque by Vince Gilligan, Betsy Brandt, George Mastras, and Michael Slovis, Fly by Vince Gilligan, Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, and Moira Walley-Beckett, Half Measures by Bryan Cranston, Adam Bernstein, Bill Powleski, Peter Gould, Jonathan Banks, and Michael Slovis, Full Measure by Vince Gilligan, Aaron Paul, Anna Gunn, Bob Odenkirk, and Jonathan Banks. Behind-the-scene featurettes include 20 episodes of Inside Breaking Bad, Hit and Run, the music of Breaking Bad, White Heat, Cranston on Fire, Pizza of Destiny, Cranston's Greatest Shot, Silent but Deadly, The Brothers Moncada, Team SCIENCE, AMC News visits the Breaking Bad writers' room, mini-video podcasts for every episode, also included is a gag reel, deleted scenes, and Better Call Saul commercials and testimonials. Exclusive to the Blu-ray releases Breaking Bad cast and crew photo collection. Reception, reviews. The third season of Breaking Bad scored 89 out of 100 on review aggregator site Metacritic, indicating universal praise. Time proclaimed it's a drama that has chosen the slow burn over the flashy explosion, and it's all the hotter for that choice. Newsday stated Breaking Bad was still TV's best series and it stayed true to itself. Tim Goodman praised the writing, acting, and cinematography, pointing out the visual adventurousness of the series. Goodman went on to call the show's visuals as a combination of staggering beauty. The directors make use of numerous wide-angle landscape portraits and transfixing weirdness. After the finale aired, the AV Club said that Season 3 was one of television's finest dramatic accomplishments. And what makes it so exciting what makes the recognition of the current golden age so pressing is that the season has not been, as another reviewer put it in another context, television good. The heart-in-the-throat quality of this season comes as much from the writers' exhilarating disregard for television conventions as from the events portrayed. Awards and nominations. The third season received numerous awards and nominations, including 7 Emmy Award nominations with 2 wins. Bryan Cranston won his third consecutive award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, and Aaron Paul won for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series after being nominated the previous year. The series received its second consecutive nomination for Outstanding Drama Series. Michelle McLaren was nominated for Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series for 1 Minute. Michael Slovis was nominated for Outstanding Cinematography for a 1-hour series for No Mas. Skip McDonald received his second nomination for Outstanding Single-Camera Picture Editing for a Drama Series for No Mas. And it was also nominated for Outstanding Sound Editing for 1 Minute. The series received 4 nominations for the Television Critics Association Awards, winning for Outstanding Achievement in Drama. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul were each nominated for Individual Achievement in Drama, with the series being nominated for Program of the Year. Cranston received his first Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Drama Series. Cranston also received a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Drama Series. Cranston won his third consecutive Satellite Award for Best Actor in a Drama Series, with the series winning the award for Best Drama Series for a second year in a row. Paul was nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role in a Series, Miniseries or Motion Picture made for television. The series received 4 nominations for the Saturn Awards, winning the award for Best Syndicated Cable Television Series for a second year in a row. Cranston was nominated for Best Actor on Television, Paul and Dean Norris were nominated for Best Supporting Actor on Television, and Giancarlo Esposito was nominated for Best Guest Starring Role on Television. The series received 3 Writers Guild of America Award nominations, for Best Drama Series, George Mastras for Best Episodic Drama for IFT, and Jennifer Hutchison for Best Episodic Drama for ICU. James Ponyazic of Time named 1 Minute as the 4th best television episode of 2010. He also included Fly, Half Measures, and Full Measure on his list of honorable mentions. The Futon critic listed Full Measure as the 6th best episode of 2010, saying that no show has played with the expectations of we've come to expect from television more than Breaking Bad. IGN named Breaking Bad the best television series of 2010. References. External links, official website, list of Breaking Bad episodes at the Internet Movie Database, list of Breaking Bad Season 3 episodes at TV.com.